There's a sound you've never heard before, and yet it's always been there. Faint, quiet, patient, like a whisper, echoing in the corridors of your mind. Not loud enough to demand attention, but persistent enough that on some sleepless nights you feel it calling. That sound is your future, and it is listening, not with ears, but with energy, not with judgment, but with potential. Every word you speak, every thought you allow to take root, every belief you rehearse in silence becomes a blueprint etched into the scaffolding of your destiny. You've been told to dream big, but no one told you the truth that the dream doesn't come alive until you speak it like it already exists, until you declare it boldly into the void. Because the universe, your world, your reality, your future, is not built by the lucky. It is constructed by those who speak what they want, louder than the doubt that tries to drown them. Your words are not vibrations, they are commands. That's not philosophy, that's physics. Sound carries power, and when that sound is laced with faith, conviction, and a refusal to accept mediocrity, the universe has no choice but to bend. Look back at history. Not the history of nations, but of individuals. Henry Ford didn't ask permission when he said he'd build a car for the common man. He declared it when people laughed at the absurdity. Edison didn't invent the light bulb by waiting in the dark for inspiration. He spoke light into existence through failure, through thousands of trials, and with every setback he kept saying, "I will." And Carnegie, who began with nothing but a fire in his gut and words on his lips, spoke wealth before the world ever called him rich. He wasn't just building railroads, he was building a mindset, one steel beam of belief at a time. So ask yourself right now, what have you been speaking into your life? Is it frustration? Is it, "I can't, I'm stuck, I'm tired, it's too late"? Or is it faith? Is it, "This is temporary, this is my becoming, I'm not finished yet"? Because the words you repeat become the story your life follows. Speak defeat long enough, and you will obey it. Speak greatness not with arrogance, but with authority, and you will begin to rise into it. You were not born average. You were trained to settle. From the moment you could walk, the world told you to color inside the lines, sit still, lower your voice, stop dreaming so loud. They said, "Be realistic." They told you, "That's just how it is." But every time someone said those words, a part of you started to shrink, and the future that once stood tall inside you started to whisper instead of roar. But here's the truth they never taught you. Your realism is just your repeated belief. And belief can be reprogrammed. Belief is nothing more than spoken faith practiced over time. You are not trapped. You are just quiet. The first battle is not against the world. It is against the silence inside you. The silence that waits for you to wake up and say something different, something bold, something reckless, something unapologetically yours. You don't wait to feel ready. You don't wait to see the path. You speak, and the path reveals itself. You say, "I will become," and the becoming begins. Not after 10 years. Not when the timing is perfect. Now. There's an ancient power in you that modern life has tried to mute. A fire that doesn't respond to motivation, but to intention. Discipline is not something you are born with. It is something you call upon every day by saying, "I will not quit," not "I'll try," not "I hope," not "maybe." You say, "I will," again and again and again until your body believes it, until your habits obey it, until your reality aligns with it. Because it's not the loudest that win, it's the clearest. You don't have to scream. You just have to stop whispering fear and start speaking clarity. What do you want? Say it. Not in a journal, not in the safety of your thoughts. Say it out loud, in the mirror, in the car, on a walk. Say it to the sky if you have to, because the moment you speak it, something shifts. Your subconscious, that ancient architect of your behavior, starts listening. Your focus sharpens. Your habits begin to change. Your body, your energy, your instincts, they start reorganizing themselves, not based on the past, but based on the future you declared. But let's be honest, this is not easy, because the moment you start speaking your future, resistance will answer. Doubt will show up dressed in the faces of people you love. Fear will try to disguise itself as wisdom. Your old self, the one built from past pain and broken promises, will whisper, "Who do you think you are?" But that is the test, and your answer must be loud. You say, "I am becoming who I was meant to be." You say it through clenched teeth, through trembling hands. You say it when you're broke, tired, heartbroken, misunderstood. You say it anyway, because your future is listening. And it doesn't respond to excuses. It doesn't care what your parents did or didn't give you. It doesn't care how unfair life has been. It only listens for faith, not the religious kind, but the kind that refuses to be quiet in the face of uncertainty. You don't speak your future once. You speak it every single day until the echo gets so loud it silences every voice that ever told you no. Do you think Walt Disney waited until the bank said yes? No, he was denied over 300 times, and each time he kept saying, "There will be a place where imagination lives." He spoke Disneyland before the world could see it, because that's what visionaries do. They speak it into existence, even when no one claps. But let me be clear, speaking is not wishing. This is not fantasy. This is warfare. Every morning you wake up and speak, your future is a declaration of war against doubt, laziness, and distraction. And when you speak, you must back it up with action. Ruthless action. Not perfection. Not hustle for applause. But sacred, deliberate, relentless movement forward. You do not need to know all the steps, just the next one. And you speak that next step into reality. Today, I will write. Today, I will train. Today, I will build. Today, I will begin again. Because it's not talent that separates you from the life you want. It's decision. And decision begins with a voice that dares to say, "This is not where it ends." This is not where it ends. Say it again. Say it until it becomes louder than the voice that says, "Stay the same." Because change real, lasting transformation is not born in motivation. It is born in repetition. Repetition of a new identity, spoken aloud like a sacred oath. I am disciplined. I am relentless. I am building something eternal. I am the author of my outcome. That is the voice your future responds to. That is the voice your habits follow. That is the sound that shapes fate. Look around you. Everything you see, the architecture, the businesses, the cities, the songs, the systems, it all started with one person who refused to keep their dream a secret. They gave it a name. They gave it a voice. And then they gave it their life. And that is what this moment asks of you, not for your perfection, not for your confidence, but for your voice. Because there will be days when the world goes quiet, when the path looks empty, when no one is clapping, when progress feels invisible. On those days, your voice must be your anchor. Not the voice of comfort, but the voice of conviction. That voice says, "I don't negotiate with fear." It says, "I don't entertain doubt." It says, "The version of me I'm becoming already exists, and I'm on my way to meet them." You see, clarity is not found, it's created. In the furnace of daily decision, in the silence of self-reflection, in the chaos of failure. You speak clarity into your confusion, one sentence at a time. And then you act. You act when you're tired. You act when you're discouraged. You act when your emotions scream for comfort. Because greatness is not emotional, it is intentional. The people you admire, the ones who changed industries, rewrote history, bent reality to their will, they all bled discipline. And that discipline started not with motivation, but with words. Muhammad Ali said, "I am the greatest," before the world agreed. He wasn't just boasting, he was building. He was teaching his mind to believe before it had proof. And when belief comes first, performance follows. This is the new rule. Stop waiting for permission. Stop checking the temperature of your environment. Stop asking people who gave up on their dreams what you should do with yours. Speak, walk, become. You are not here to survive the noise. You are here to override it. You are here to speak a frequency so strong, so clear, so convicted that all things not aligned with your future begin to fall away. But don't get it twisted. This journey is not a highlight reel. This is blood. This is sweat. This is silence, sacrifice, solitude. You will lose people, you will outgrow places. You will be misunderstood. And that's how you'll know you're no longer speaking from where you are, but from where you're going. The climb is steep, but every step, every breath, every ounce of pain echoes upward. The mountain is listening. Say it. I will keep going. Say it when the bills are due. Say it when the doors close. Say it when your heart breaks and your body aches and your faith feels like dust in the wind. Say it because that's how mountains move, not through force, through faith. You have the right to struggle. You don't have the right to surrender. Because someone somewhere is watching you, silently. They're wondering if it's still possible to rise. And your voice, your fight, your decision, it's their permission slip, not to copy you, but to believe in themselves again. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be real. You need to be awake to the fact that your life, this moment, this minute, is being sculpted by the words you whisper when no one's watching. So whisper wisely. Say it. This is my time. Say it. The pain ends here. Say it. My past is a lesson, not a label. Say it. I'm done living like I'm disposable. Say it. I will not pass on mediocrity to my children. Say it. I will be the one to change the story. Let the world call you delusional. Let them scoff. Let them roll their eyes. But when the dust settles, it will not be their opinion that remains. It will be your reality. And your reality will be a monument to every word you dared to speak. Speak as if your voice is prophecy, because it is. Your vision is sacred. Guard it with your language. Protect it with your presence. Fuel it with your rituals. Surround it with silence if you must, but never surround it with doubt. Speak your goals into mirrors and minutes and mornings. Speak your legacy into workouts, into late nights, into rejections. Speak your faith into actions so small no one else notices but you do. And when it hurts, speak louder. I was made for this. This isn't the end. My story is just getting started. There is no going back, only through. You will not always feel powerful, but you can always sound powerful. And sound shapes space. Sound is movement. Sound is the beginning of all creation. So, speak. Not for the applause, not for the audience, but for the alignment of your soul with your destiny. Because your future is still listening, waiting, ready. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a loud decision. A decision that roars louder than every excuse that's ever tried to tame you. A decision that says, I don't care how long it takes. I don't care how many times I fall. I only care that I never go quiet again. Because silence is where dreams go to die. Not the silence of peace, but the silence of surrender. The silence where voices become ghosts, where potential becomes regret. And if you let it linger too long, it will bury your greatness in a graveyard called what could have been. But not you. Not anymore. Today, you speak like your breath is fire and your tongue is prophecy. You speak with the awareness that every sentence you release is either planting a seed or burning a bridge. You choose your words like a warrior sharpening their blade, precise, intentional, unshakable. You say, I am not a prisoner of my past. I am a pioneer of my future. I am the storm they said would never come. I am not just surviving, I'm designing. And if the world isn't ready to hear you yet, good. That means your frequency is new, revolutionary, ahead of its time. Remember, every great leader, thinker, disruptor was once dismissed as delusional. When Rosa Parks refused to move, she wasn't speaking with volume, she was speaking with value. When Martin Luther King Jr. said, I have a dream, he didn't whisper it. He didn't test it on a small stage. He stood before the nation and declared it unshaken, unedited, and the echo of that dream still shakes the ground today. Words change everything. They start revolutions. They end wars. They save lives. So what will your words do? Will they comfort your limitations, or will they confront them? Will they lull you to sleep, or will they wake you the hell up? You are not here to repeat the same sentence every day. I'll try. I'm not ready. Maybe next year. You are here to write new language into your DNA. Say it. My energy is sacred. My time is invested, not wasted. My discipline is my freedom. My voice is my sword, and I wield it with clarity. You don't need motivation to get started. You need desperation. You need a refusal to live one more day muted by fear, poisoned by doubt, paralyzed by overthinking. You need to burn the bridge between you and your old excuses, and when the smoke rises, you speak through it like a phoenix finding its wings again. Your old story doesn't own you anymore. The chapter ended when you decided to speak a new sentence. The sentence that says, I am the writer now, the author, the voice, and you don't stop there. You speak when no one claps. You speak when no one answers. You speak when the results haven't arrived, the money hasn't come, the recognition is nowhere to be found. That is when your voice matters most. Not when the world agrees, but when the world is silent. Because in that silence, you meet yourself. The real you. The one you buried beneath guilt and second guessing and self-doubt. The one who was always waiting, not for a miracle, but for a microphone. That microphone is your mouth. That stage is your life. That audience? Your future. And it's listening. It's listening when you speak life over your wounds instead of hiding them. It's listening when you declare progress over perfection. It's listening when you look in the mirror and say, I don't have to be like them. I only have to be louder than the fear inside me. So speak. Speak like the only currency you have left is courage. Speak like you've been broke before, but never broken. Speak like every failure was a rehearsal for the next act. Speak like the world is already on fire and your words are the water. And when people ask, what makes you think you'll succeed? You look them in the eye and say, because I said I would. Say it again. Because I said I would. Let that become your battle cry. Because when you say it, when you mean it, when you live it, you no longer need external permission. You become the source, the origin, the generator of your own momentum. You stop reacting and start creating. You stop waiting and start becoming. You stop hoping and start commanding. This is the truth most people run from. No one is coming to save you. No perfect moment is arriving. No divine blueprint is landing in your lap. It's just you, your voice, and the next step you choose to take, and that's all you need. Because once you realize your voice creates your path, you stop looking for direction from broken compasses. You become your own North Star. This is not about ego. This is about responsibility, about the sacred obligation to no longer play small, to no longer shrink so others feel safe, to no longer betray your own power in exchange for comfort. The world has enough people whispering defeat. It needs more people roaring purpose. And if you're tired, rest, but don't go quiet. If you're scared, pause, but don't retreat. If you're doubted, smile, and keep building. Because the storm you walk through today becomes the story someone survives by tomorrow. And they will survive it, not because you told them to, but because you showed them how. With your voice, your fire, your refusal to give up. Your future is not waiting on luck. It's not waiting on timing. It's waiting on you to say the words that shift the world. The world will forget your resume. It will forget the numbers, the titles, the applause, but it will never forget your echo. The vibration you leave behind, the shift you caused by choosing to rise, the frequency you built from nothing but breath, pain, and promise, that is what becomes legacy. So here you are now, standing not at the edge of your potential, but at the beginning of your declaration. There is no audience, no stage, no music, just you, and the raw silence of a life that hasn't yet heard what it could become. You don't need to wait for the light to change. You are the signal. You don't need a savior. You are the voice. Speak. Speak like you're not asking anymore. Speak like you've buried every excuse. Speak like you've seen the bottom and kissed the dirt and made peace with the pain. Speak like you've been called not by the world, but by the fire in your gut that refuses to die. Because you have. You were not born to blend in with the static. You were not designed to echo other people's doubts. You were not created to be a backup plan in your own story. You are the signal in the noise, the fire in the cold, the answer to 1,000 unspoken prayers starting with your own. So say it. Say the name of the life you came to build. Say it like every syllable is a hammer breaking down every lie you've ever believed. Say it like the wind can carry it into tomorrow, and tomorrow knows who to become. Say, this is my time. This is my voice. This is my birthright to shape, to speak, to sculpt reality by will. And then be still. Listen. Can you hear it? That sound, that low rumble, that subtle shift in the distance. That's your future, answering you. It's not waiting anymore. It's moving, shifting, gathering momentum, because you finally told it where to go. You spoke it into motion. You spoke it into existence. And now nothing can silence what you have begun. So walk forward now, not in fear, but in rhythm with the future that's no longer a question because you made it an answer. Let the world watch. Let the critics talk. Let the obstacles come. You already spoke it. And the future never forgets the voice that dared to declare, I will. I am. Watch me. Your future is listening. And now, it's becoming.